Hello and welcome to the Last Level Games. I'm Jason. That's Phil. Say hi, Phil.
What's up?
That's LeVar. Say hi, Var.
How's it going?
And we are the Last Level Gamescast. We're here to talk about video games and video game news and just our take on things in the world that are games. But first, what we're going to talk about first is the Star Wars trailer. Phil, LeVar, reactions. Var, you
Let
first.
you go, Phil. Oh,
Oh.
whoops. Guess I'm being rushed into this.
Yes, do it. Do it now.
All right. Before I jump into how great it was, and the whole half-melted Darth Vader mask, fucking with me.
Because
Why?
30 years later?
Well, not just that. It's like he went off to a remote location and burned his dad, and apparently everybody's just like, let's wait until Luke leaves so
Yeah,
we can
but
get that skull.
But that's what it looks like. So in that trailer, it looks like almost a religion was born
Yeah.
from his death. So yeah, they found their arc. They found their lost arc, right? And that's his face. I think it's fucking phenomenal because it sums up like the importance of him, and
Yeah.
it adds in all this energy of literally he became such a status from his death, which, let's be honest, if maybe all those people knew how he died and the kind of last fucking shit that happened, they wouldn't really look at him like a status symbol. But they don't.
They probably would.
It's this religion.
The Sith?
I don't think going
Yeah, but
he went the reasons why he went against the Emperor. No, I don't think so.
No.
He would have been okay with that. But besides the point, I love that it was like their lost ark, and they found it. And I think they would have searched for it.
Yeah.
I absolutely think they would have tried to find it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, yeah, to think that it was like, okay, we'll just leave this here, and then it's there. But they may have gotten it after the fact, like you said. I think, personally, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm one of those people that was okay with the 2000 trilogy. They were okay. They weren't terrible, as bad as people make them sound. They were out of left field with a couple things, but they were okay. Clearly, like the first three were amazing. But I am really excited to see what J.J. Abrams is going to do with this. I think from the trailer that they showed, I can't see a part where it's going to be the best thing in the world, but it's definitely not going to be, something we're just going to be like, what the fuck is this? I think it's going to be a perfect blend, for me at least. I really strongly feel that it's going to be a perfect blend of what old Star Wars was and what like the new Star Wars things, the Phantom Menace. I hated Attack of the Clones, but Revenge of the Sith hit some good points with the battles and stuff like that, and the scenery and stuff. So I'm super excited about it, and we're gonna go see it on that Friday. Do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the biggest thing I saw in it is, I think you're right. Like they showed some of the older elements, but like you just said, in the trailer they looked like a transition tool to the new.
Yeah.
And as long as they do that, and if that's like their kind of goal, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm super hyped. I can't fucking wait. If it lets me down, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I can't see it like really, because everyone wants to be polarizing. They want to say either it was the best thing in the world or it was shit.
Yeah,
I really feel like it has the potential to be really, really great, but it's gonna be somewhere in the middle, and it's gonna be okay because they got 2 more movies to make, right? Because it's another trilogy.
That's what I don't want.
So let them.
I don't want a cliffhanger. That's all I don't
You're gonna
want.
get a cliffhanger.
No, you might not.
No,
You're gonna get a
they didn't
cliffhanger.
The Star Wars weren't big on cliffhangers.
You're gonna get a cliffhanger.
First 4, 5, and
Don't
6
want it.
were not big on cliffhangers.
Yeah, they really
It's
weren't.
okay. You're
They
gonna, guys.
Because it's Abrams.
Well, that's not to be stupid, but that's the society that our trilogies now live in. Like, I think he might not, because Star Trek didn't do that, but I don't think Star Trek
didn't
it
do
wasn't
that.
going to be a trilogy originally. It wasn't going to be 3 movies. These are strictly 3 movies. I think it might not be like one of those cliffhangers where it leaves you like in the middle of an action scene. Is that what you mean?
I mean a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger.
Like What does
Star
that mean?
Wars.
Like somebody shows up that didn't show up at the whole movie, like a Thanos kind of thing,
All right,
or
all right. I don't think that was a cliffhanger. The thing I'm thinking about right now is like the Star Wars movies had like each of the trilogies had one war.
yeah,
They had one war that they went through, but at no
not
point like they completed their battles in the movies. It wasn't like,
yeah.
well, to find out what's going to happen on Hoth. No,
Right. No, I get that.
they
I don't
completed
think
their
they do that.
battles and they had really important uh, plot points at the end of their movies,
Yeah.
but not cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Like you knew life was going to go on. You weren't like, oh God, what happens next? It's like that was a good movie. That's why I enjoyed them because
So I think
they didn't tease me that hard.
So I think with this movie, and again, I haven't seen. I don't think I can fit it in, but I wanted to read that book that kind of fills the gap. But I think what you're gonna have is in this first one is, more of a rise of, the rise of whoever's down, because I couldn't really tell if it's like, obviously the Empire's still around, in a way.
The new name.
Yeah, but they have, they're gonna have the rise of the rebellion the same way, I think, similar to what A New Hope was, just with different characters and stuff like that, which is cool either way. But I guess I'm thinking you're like a cliffhanger. I know what you're talking about. I don't think they're gonna leave a cliffhanger like that where it's in the middle of a war and they just say find out next time. Basically, I think they will do what they've been doing in that regard. I thought you meant something else.
Don't Matrix 2 me.
Yeah. That's yeah.
No. My genuine fear for this is cliffhangers, but in a different nature. I'm afraid that they're so invested in the side projects that the main movies are going to have not like half-developed characters, but you're going to keep seeing these side projects like come in and out of the movie or in and out of the movie, where like maybe they're not huge into the main line.
Yeah.
I just don't want someone to come into the movie, not on purpose, obviously, but play too big of a part, and then that cliffhanger is their side movie. That's what I don't want to happen. That's what I don't want.
Yeah.
I want it. I actually would have liked it a lot more like Avengers did theirs, where everyone had theirs, and then it came together. But that's the only thing I worry about is how much they're going to tie the side movies and those storylines into the main one. Because let's be honest, if whoever's getting the first one, I can't think of who it is, if they're getting the first one and they're in that first movie that comes out in December, it's going to do better. Like, because you already know the person, you already know part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how much they're going to play into it.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. But either way, it's exciting times. It's almost here, and Battlefront's like a month away, not even.
Yeah, that's a game that's happening.
Yeah. So moving on to more important video game news. So Var, are you sad to hear that Hideo is officially unemployed? Well, officially, unofficially since then. He's no longer going to be with Konami. Let's put it that way.
I'm sad to hear that.
Yeah.
But as a huge fan of the Metal Gear series, I think it happened. I think it happened at a better time than if it would have happened earlier than this.
Yeah.
Because we have a finished product, even though he said it was over after 3 and after 4. That's besides the point. We have a finished product, and I don't think this is one of those things where we're watching the end of his story.
Yes.
I believe he's a very creative individual who's capable of great things, and I think we will still see great things from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, the biggest thing I took from it is, you don't realize until you see the number, but he was with them for 30 years. How many developers can you say that about? You know what I mean? So I think it's very good that like he can now do something else, and that Konami can figure out whatever they want to do with their lives, and they can move on from here. Because they could make another Metal Gear, but it'll be
Yeah,
their
they said
own
they're
Metal.
gonna.
Yeah, then
They
it'll
already
be
said they're
their
gonna make
own.
new Metal Gear and whatnot. What I think is more interesting is the way Konami's handling all of it. They're like, they came out and said he went on vacation. He's only on vacation. He still works for us. And then there was the picture from the Wall Street Journal. The guy got a picture of basically his going away party, and
Yeah.
they showed Konami, and Konami's like, "No, we don't know what that is. That
Yeah.
just looks like cake or something.
Yeah.
It looks like they're toasting him goodbye." No, there's a fly they're all looking at. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, we don't know what happens in our studio. Like, just fucking let it go. Like,
Yeah.
But
go
do you
on.
think that was a part of the whole? Do you think we can get him back?
No, it's Konami not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's them, like, because a perfect example, like another thing to add to that is that there was even I forget where I saw it, but there was even an article that said like the VP, one of the VPs didn't even show up to his goodbye party. So you
Yeah.
have that on top of the fact that like people
And
are
it's just-
seen taking pictures at his goodbye party, and then they're like, no, he didn't leave. He's just like he's over there.
Yeah.
But kind of building off of that, where do you guys think he might go? Do you think he might start off on his own? Do you think he might partner with a big publisher, and they'll just give him, some money and say, hey, make a game. I don't care what you do. Just here you go. Do you think he stays with like Sony, or do you think he goes to Microsoft? What are you guys thinking?
I think it has to be a big publisher for the amount of money he blows on games, for the amount that he uses. Sorry, I'm trying to look up Metal Gear Solid 5 sales numbers. Do you guys know?
Not yet. Not yet. It had a month. I know that. We'll get into. Okay.
So they're selling way better. This is selling way better than any of his past ones.
Yes.
That I know of. So I think that's a huge up to him, and it's going to make him more attractive to games companies. Because honestly, I think if this sold the same as his other Metal Gears, I think he would have been on his own.
Yeah.
Because honestly, they were only taking in what, 3 million, 4 million for the general Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And then you have like the spin-offs that just didn't even do that. So right now, to me, it would have to be like Activision, Sony,
Microsoft.
I don't think Microsoft.
Yeah, and he's gonna stay in Japan, right?
I think he stays in Japan.
Yeah.
I know Microsoft has Japan studios, and would be a ginormous coup if they could get him.
Yeah.
Make Japanese games. That'd be huge for Microsoft. But honestly, they have a really strong culture around sticking within themselves. And I could see Sony doing it.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
He's been with them for a while. Like, he's been working with them, up until 360, where he made well, he didn't even touch Rising, but but yeah, I would tell you, I think I agree with your point about Metal Gear Solid 5, and I think the biggest thing that works in their favor with that game is that it's open world, is that the combat system is really good. It doesn't confine you to the story near as much as all the other ones do, and I think that's what makes it so much of a or so less of a niche game. So I definitely think it's gonna probably be one of the better selling games, Metal Gear's, hands down. Var, where do you think he might go? You think he might just go to Sony?
I'm hoping he gets whoever gives him enough time.
Yeah.
Because I'd like people to remember that these games weren't pumped out quickly.
No, yeah.
And there's always like talk about, oh, where is it at in development? And this isn't like one of those games you constantly see at an E3. It may get announced and then you won't see it for a while.
So,
but then
so
the
what
finished
about,
product worth it.
So what about? I mean, I think it's highly unlikely. But what about like a Rockstar or like Bethesda?
No,
Like they go there, he opens a studio, like not like straight up, like it's his own studio, keeps it in Japan, and goes under a Bethesda and Rockstar. So out of all the publishers, they understand the most, I think, now that 4 years into a development cycle, you tell them in the last year it's coming, and you put it out.
Yeah, especially with like Grand Theft Auto, Fallout. Excuse me.
Skyrim was a lot like that. And I think that that formula falls right in line with what he does. I just don't know if they throw enough money at him.
Yeah.
Or money at the project, I should say, because was rumored one of the issues with Konami.
Yeah.
Just, I need more money. We're going to go study the way these beats fall out of the helicopter.
Yeah, I know. I think it it doesn't bode well for him. It's kind of a twofold thing. It doesn't bode well for him that he had so many issues with Konami, but at the same time, Konami has not made their position that they're not the bad guy in the
Right.
entire situation. So a developer might look at that, or a publisher might look at that and be like, we could probably take a chance on him and he'll do a lot for us, but we have to really vet the situation and see if it's more him than it was Konami, or find out what was really going on with that.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see. I don't expect to hear anything about it for a while though. I'll tell you that
It'll
much.
just be what? So he can't talk till after December.
Yeah, and
And
I don't know that he would want to even.
talks after, yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll find out though. Either way, Metal Gear Solid 5 is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to beat it. I really am. I say that every week. I'm working through it, guys. I need to beat it before Fallout.
That mean you're working through it? That sounds terrible.
Well, no, because it's like it's such a grind for me because like
Making it better, Jay. Making it better.
I love doing all the side quests. Like I love doing all the side ops. It's crazy. And those are a grind, I will tell you. So moving on, we're gonna talk a little bit about YouTube's streaming video game streaming service.
Yeah.
So they announced that they're going to be providing mobile viewing, which is good,
Yeah.
and paid subscriptions, which is
Yeah.
also good. So Var, I know you're not a huge fan of watching like Twitch and YouTube gaming and stuff like that. But Twitch kind of owns the market, right? Like right now, they are the pride of video game streamers. They have their own issues. They do. They're a little bit behind on certain things that you'd expect them to have, like the video on demand, and things like that. I gotta ask you guys, what do you think it would take for people to migrate from Twitch to YouTube? Like, what is YouTube going to need to do? Is it possible to really do that? What do you think?
I think it's possible. It's going to take a lot, though. So I understand Twitch is very imperfect, but it has such a following at this point to grab the market share. They need to do something really just unbelievable. So whether that's just completely just saying, fuck it, we're not going to make a profit on it, and all the money goes to the streamer, something like that might be good enough for them. And then the other thing is maybe if they can get some exclusivities, right?
Yeah.
So how do consoles do it? So maybe they make it that the new Madden comes out. Let's just say that, right? The new Madden comes out. The only place you're allowed to stream it is YouTube Gaming, right? Much beyond that, they got a really late start to the game, and I think it's really going to be hard for them to pull over the streamers who are already established.
Yeah.
So unless they get some new personalities on there that are really just all in and people take to them, then it's going to be okay. My biggest problem, I try to even watch it, and it's a whole different fucking thing than YouTube.
Yeah, it's so hard to get to. I mean,
should be able to search a user and just bring them up and bring up their live stream.
Exactly.
And you can't. You have to go to YouTube Gaming, and it's separate. It's a different app on my phone. I don't want any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe tightening up their branding of it and the way it works. I can see that, but I hope it works. I like competition. I like more than one person doing it. And honestly, Twitch pisses me off so much when I just try to watch people, that I hope YouTube becomes big enough to at least force Twitch to continue to evolve. So they added video on demand, right? That was a huge deal at their TwitchCon. But even just better apps. So I watch it a lot on the Roku. I can't chat while it's on the Roku, and it just constantly fucks up where it'll back me out of stuff, where it won't pull up the stream. It'll log me in and then log me out at the same time. It's just weird. So they need to make things easier and simpler.
Yeah.
And money. It's always money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the easiest way to do it, and I'm seeing more of this now on television, is that YouTube is promoting the individuals it feels are successful in their streams. Yeah. And if you start doing that with gamers, letting gamers know, we'll get your face on TV. Like we know you have your following online, but as silly as it sounds, imagine a gamer promoting themselves during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Twitch
Yeah.
going to do that for you?
Mm.
No, I mean they have Amazon to back them, but they won't do something. Google, I can see Google doing something like that. Maybe not the Super Bowl, but something high end where there's a lot of viewership.
I'm
And
just going
and
to the
yeah,
extreme.
no, I
Yeah.
completely understand. I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely can see it. That's actually a good idea. You know, like when you think about marketing and stuff like that, to put, you got to put it on the right channel. Obviously, you got to put it in the right situation. But to make those commercials that they talk about, where like I can demonstrate how to do this, where they show like they need somebody with gravitas, though, you know, to do that, and
Well,
which will kind of defeat the purpose because they already have a following. But still, to get that exposure and get that person
Yeah.
out there.
they could take some of their YouTube stars
Hmm.
who make videos and get them into live streaming. I think would help too.
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You know, like you said, I think it helps keep the competition up there with for Twitch,
Yes.
because they have to stay, you know, constantly moving, and
Yep.
so that's good. You know, so let's move into the NPD sales results of September. Some interesting stuff. I just want to, you know, we'll go over this real quick. First off, PlayStation, #1 console.
Mhm.
You know, then Xbox One, obviously. I think this might be the last month before you see that kick because of Halo. Although Halo's at the end of October,
Yeah.
so they still might get the edge.
But their console is already out.
Which console?
So the Halo bundle console.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So because smart and stupid at the same time, but because it has the downloadable code,
Yeah.
they actually were able to release the console a week before the game gets released.
Okay.
So it actually is like 2 weeks of the month that should help drive their sales.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting. You know, I was wondering if this might be a month where, you know, you see Xbox One, but then I thought about Destiny, and you know what I mean, and like the Taken King expansion is still something that's kind of pushed on the PlayStation, so that might have
see
helped.
how they're pushing Star Wars as if it's an
As
exclusive.
PS4 exclusive, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this. I actually just found it. You guys know I'm always on my deal websites, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, Microsoft is going to have a $300 system that comes with. Oh shit! I want to say it's the Gears bundle.
Yeah.
And Fallout 4, and an extra controller
For $300
on Black Friday. Yeah.
Wow.
That.
And honestly, unless Sony would do something to match that, I think that just becomes the console to have for Black Friday,
Holy
which would be
shit.
fucking huge for them. Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's nuts.
Is
That would be
crazy.
huge for them.
God, I
man,
need to buy another Xbox. No kidding.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I can't think of where. Man, let me try to find it. But sorry, you can go with the numbers.
No, that's cool. One thing, a couple things I found interesting actually, from the sales was that so NBA 2K16 was #1. It sold best on PS4 and then Xbox One. The only reason I bring that up is NBA 2K16 is probably the best NBA game I've seen in a couple years. Now, you guys, I know you guys don't play basketball games. I do. That game came out like the last week of the month, and it sold 4 million copies.
Yeah.
Like, that is impressive. I think maybe it wasn't last week, but it might have been like 10 days or something like that. 10 or 13 days between there, and it did really well. And then I don't know how Madden's #2. Like, you know, me and Phil are always talking about EA Access and how it's so cost effective. Like, why are people paying $60 for an updated roster?
Yeah.
I will play that 9-hour demo, and I will wait till it's free again.
Yeah, I'll wait till it's EA Access. Yeah,
it's selling better. It's selling better on the PS4, which makes sense, right? Because some people are thinking like us, but more people gotta think like us, man. You know, buying power is here. You need to like say like don't do it. But you know, other than that, I think a lot of stuff is kind of where we thought it'd be. Metal Gear's 3 sold best on PS4. FIFA's 4. Destiny was 5. Super Mario Maker #6, and it sold really well. It sold really well for that month. I think it was like 4,500,000 copies were sold in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, you know. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what happens in the next two months, because you got Halo, you got Fallout, you got Tomb Raider, you got Call of Duty, you got what am I missing? I'm missing something important.
Star Wars.
Battlefront. Oh my God, Battlefront. There's something else. Just Cause 3. That's in December.
Rainbow Six.
That's in December too. Yeah, yeah. So
I found it. It's over on Polygon.com, and they got it from BlackFriday.com, and yeah, so it's looking like $299.99. It's going to be the Xbox One Gears of War Ultimate Edition bundle plus Fallout 4, plus an extra controller for that price.
That is crazy. And so they're giving away. What size is that hard drive?
500.
So they're giving away.
Not 1 terabyte, but it is for $300. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, they're giving away Fallout for free, a controller for free,
and you lowered the price.
Yeah, and I mean Gears probably doesn't really cost them anything at this point, but yeah, but that's crazy.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, we'll get more. Maybe Sony has a crazy one too. It's surely possible.
Yeah.
But it's just starting to leak, and this one that'll be at Dell.com.
Shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. You know. So yeah, transitioning into the main stuff we're going to talk about. Nintendo NX article came out. Some interesting stuff, guys. Yeah. I'm very intrigued. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Phil, would you like to take the reins on this?
Yeah, no, I would love to. So NX, I mean, it's been tossed around before at some meetings to kind of let investors know that Nintendo still has a plan. And it kind of came up again. And there's some leaks coming out there that they're seeing what appears to be a main console and a second something. So they don't know yet if it's going to be much more like the Wii U, where it's usable just there, or what it sounds like is it's going to be something you can take with you, so akin to a 3DS. They also haven't said if it'll be bundled together, or it'll be something that you buy separate and use together, which that's huge. I think that the Wii U was kind of their first step, and then they realized kind of it was underpowered, and they heard the feedback that people were like, hey, this is kind of cool, but I want to walk away with this gamepad. Like, I want to take it when I go to work and I'm on the train, or I want to take it like 5 minutes here or 5 minutes there.
Yeah.
I still want to play my AAA game. That's what they're looking for. So I think that's what it sounds like they're kind of going for. One of the biggest things I heard in the announcements, or in the not announcements, they're leaks, they're rumors, was that they're going for using the latest guts, the latest chips, the latest graphics cards, processor, that thing. Why that's such a big deal is the Wii U's underpower is what stops it from getting the Call of Duties, the Maddens, the FIFAs.
Yeah.
It stops it from getting those platform games, which really hurt the Wii U sales. They do. You know, if I'm going to buy something for me, and if I had the kid to play, I'm going to buy something they can play games on and I can.
Yeah.
I think we've started to hit that generation of parents who like games. So you're starting to...
I like games.
Yeah. You're a parent?
Oh, God, no, I'm not a parent. I heard like games.
That's the way to tell us, man.
That's awkward.
So we're starting to hit that generation, so why not buy the console that I can use and my kid use, right?
Yeah.
So this, man, look, this is their last chance. This is hit or miss. But if they can make a game where I'm playing Zelda on my TV, and then I have to go wait for my oil to get changed in my car, and I grab a controller, leave my house, and turn it on while I'm waiting for my oil to get changed, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
In game.
Yes, same game.
I'm not talking remote play.
That's important, and I think that's super difficult. But it's gonna be interesting if they can pull that shit off.
Yeah.
Because, like, oh man. Now, Var, did you looked at the article, right?
Yeah.
What are your takes? Because I have some interesting ideas about this, but I wanted to see what you guys both thought.
I wish I could think of Nintendo without thinking that they're just behind
Okay.
the curve. And I wish I could think of gaming without thinking of the comfort of. This is gonna sound bad, but I'm thinking that there are console games. But when I hear the term mobile game, as much as I know the popularity of the DS and Nintendo has a lock on mobile gaming, I'm thinking more phones now.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of that convenience of having all in one. And I'd rather have a console game than for console. I know I'm
No, I know what you're
too
saying.
much of a traditionalist, but
I know what you're saying.
I I think when you try to, because I remember what the PlayStation was trying to push on people for a while. This idea that, okay, you can use your PS4 and play a game, and you can also go out and play Vita. And it's exciting for some people, but for me, it's like, I'm all right. I, I'm not, I've never been in the position where I'm playing a game and I could not conceive of the idea of not also leaving and playing the same game. Like gaming has become to me this experience that you take comfort in.
Okay.
And then mobile gaming is the total opposite. Like I don't want to play uh Madden on the go.
Really?
I
You
really
don't?
don't. I
Oh, wow.
really
That's
don't. I
interesting.
really don't.
I was gonna say that would actually be one of the games I would want to play
Just
in the go.
dopeness. Yeah. No.
Eh,
Phil, I gotta ask you a question. As far as the uh the 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 media that they're gonna use, did they mention if it's gonna be a disc?
So it actually lacked any disc. Um, the only thing it showed in the patent filing was for like external storage. And to me, that could be one of two things. It could be that everything's downloaded,
Yeah.
and you literally just can add, 128 gig SD card and then
Yep.
that's your hard drive, or you plug in a hard drive into a USB. Or to me, my hope and my dream would we would return to a cartridge-based system.
Yeah.
So they would give me an SD card that has the game on it. You put it in, you play your game.
You take it out and you bring it with you.
Take it out, you put it in your other one, you play the game.
That's what I think is gonna be like if they can pull that shit off.
Yeah.
Like, so I was reading, the article from Kotaku, and there's an update saying that the NX platform is likely to have more than 2 devices.
Yes.
Now, like you said, it could be paired with the Nintendo Wii U, right? And then it could have its own thing going on. I think, because let's be honest, everything's getting more convenient, more mobile, more smaller, right? And there's certain, like, consoles haven't hit that yet for the most part.
Yep.
Like the Vita, like you're saying, the Vita, it's an interesting concept. I have used it before.
Yeah.
It has limits because you can't get away, get too far from your router and stuff like that. Like it has that problem.
It has
right?
latency issues.
So how do you solve that? How do you?
Yep.
What it is you make that game, like you can put in different things and it still runs. So I gotta be honest, like I got excited reading this because I'm thinking like if they can pull off what I think that they're trying to do, and they can get third parties involved, they can sit here and say like, hey, we're gonna make it more convenient for you guys to port your game.
Yeah.
But like certain parameters around it, like we need to do this with it, and it works. Like they're gonna be above, like in front of the other consoles.
Yeah,
again.
They're gonna go back to being a game changer, and that's the one thing I always liked about Nintendo is, you know what, sometimes they fuck up. The Wii U, they fucked up, but they always try something different. They always don't want to just push the latest graphics because they don't believe that's the best idea.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can somehow do both, if they can somehow push the graphics so people are happy with that and they can port their games over, and then I could take that game on the go.
Yeah.
And again, one of the things I loved about the Wii U isn't even that the on the go part, which might come from the NX, is like I can play the game while my wife watches something on TV.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I get that.
That's a thing I like about my Wii U. Like right now, Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker. I barely ever played on TV. I almost always just played on the gamepad in front of me while my wife watches another episode of NCIS. Like,
Yeah.
it's easier, it's convenient. So if they have that same ability, and I can maybe take it to the bedroom this time, because now
Take it to the bed, Phil.
Yeah.
Do it, Phil.
now it only reaches it reaches my living room and
Yeah.
much past that, and it loses connection, right?
Yeah.
So if they can make that a bigger thing, and maybe it is switching cartridges, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited Nintendo did not get scared and stopped being Nintendo.
Okay.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Is they didn't just go, fuck it, fine, best specs ever, Super Mario in super duper HD, and that makes the game better, because apparently that's how things work.
I can't imagine a super HD Super Mario. Like,
they did it in Unreal Engine 4.
Did
It
they?
looked fucking dope, yeah.
Wait, Nintendo did. It was somebody else,
No,
right?
no.
Yeah,
Someone, it's fan made. But yeah, so I think Nintendo has a chance here to reestablish themselves.
Yeah.
But they could fuck it up easy.
Yeah. It's tricky because the other. Go ahead.
Think about it this way. Honest to God, because you've used the Vita before, I've used the Vita before. I think the Vita is 2 triggers away from being an awesome machine.
I can understand that.
Those triggers,
I can understand that.
it negates an entire function of the Vita.
Yeah.
It makes remote play shit. But if it had those triggers,
On certain games, definitely certain games.
but if it had those triggers, it would be amazing for
Yeah.
remote play.
Yeah.
It would be amazing. You have your limits of Wi-Fi, blah blah blah. I would take that. But because they don't have those triggers, it fucks those games up so bad.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just think that my worry about, like, and we're at the beginning of this, really, right? My worry is that when they say that there's more than 2 devices,
Yeah.
do they mean, are they including like your 3DS? Are they
Yeah.
include, so if they're gonna tell me that they're gonna just make it all one network, but they're not really gonna show too much new, it's gonna be more of the same. That's gonna hurt them. But at the same time, although I'm saying for the newer market that they're gonna try to get for the people
Yeah.
that are already in it, they'll like that idea, I think.
Mhm.
But I think, like, I'm interested to see what they do, because the other thing that I think about is it, if it's gonna be more than 2, like, did they think like how many is too many? Because I don't want to have too many different things that I have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I have my 3DS, I have whatever else is connected and stuff like that, but I also have my cell phone, my wallet. Like, I can't bring certain things with me, so I'm hoping they we get more information that kind of negates that worry for me. But
Yeah.
I'm interested, man. I'm telling you, I'm really interested to see what they do.
See, I took that a little differently.
Okay.
I took that, and I could be wrong because, right, this is all speculation at this point, is one of the people's biggest complaints about the Wii U is that you could only use one Wii U gamepad. And I took it
That was
as,
one of our.
Yep. But I took it as you could hook up multiple to the unit.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking there's going to be a console and then a portable section. But instead, this time of only being able to hook up one at a time, you can hook up multiple. So let's say you come over and we both can use a gamepad type device with the console instead of me getting the gamepad and you getting the regular Wiimote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I took it. But it's all conjecture at this point. It's all just rumor.
It's all exciting though.
When do you think it launches?
Let's see, what are we in 2015? I'm gonna say fall of 2017.
Yeah, you think that's
I really think it's 2 years away. Which is, I think it'll be like, or maybe, yeah, I would say, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna say middle of September of 2017.
Here's my prediction. It's kind of a twofold. I think if Nintendo makes it easy enough for third-party games to get ported onto it, I think it launches 2016. I think if developers have a hard time porting onto it, it's 2017 and fall for each.
Yeah.
Because I think this console coming out with 2 or 3 Nintendo exclusives plus all the third parties from would be a good enough, strong enough lineup that they could do it.
It's
Otherwise, if they can't port that easy, I think they do push it. Dude, I think they've been working on this since the Wii U. Like before the
Yeah,
Wii U
well,
even launched.
yeah, they probably had to have at least concepts.
'Cause I think the NX is what they wanted the Wii U to be, but they couldn't do it for either cost. I'm assuming cost. Because
Well,
they did everything they could to make the gamepad cheap.
yeah, and well, that also is probably like like the technology in it in itself was probably too expensive at the time. It's probably a little bit cheaper now, too, right?
Because everything catches up.
Yeah,
But,
that
yeah,
makes it easier to make that transition.
I mean,
You
think
know,
about it. Look at the phone you have. Look at the shit it can do. Like that stuff blows my
my phone
mind.
does some crazy shit. No, it doesn't.
And the size of it. So if they kept the tablet size as the controller,
Hmm.
maybe not the whole thing's a screen, but with buttons on it and joysticks and that kind of stuff, you could pack a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah,
You can put in some pretty decent things. The other thing too, a lot of times they work with AMD. That's the big chip manufacturer for the graphics units of the consoles.
yeah,
The work AMD's been doing lately, they actually have this like mini card that is phenomenal. Like like right up there, a top tier card, and it is. You're used to seeing like these ginormous like graphics cards, and it's like half.
yeah.
Um, so maybe they got something going with them, or maybe that kind of graphics cards got seen. So
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, me too. I can't wait. What about you, Var?
he wants it to burn.
Yeah,
Uh,
you want them to burn
I
to the
can I
ground.
can wait a little bit more than you.
Yeah, you take things so personal when it comes to
He
Nintendo.
hates Nintendo. He just
Jesus,
wants
I don't hate Nintendo.
you do.
I'm just
You
I'm just
too.
aware that when I was a small child, I
Yeah.
played Mario,
Yeah.
and this company still wants me to play Mario.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
what's wrong with that? What did
Never
you
mind.
When
Never
I
mind.
was when I was a small
that goes
child,
off your
I drank water.
that goes
I
no
still drink water.
that goes off your same argument where you
No,
were
that is
like, what
no.
works, what I know works,
Yeah.
what I hope works. Mario works. Like,
Mario stopped working for some people a long time ago.
We got that. Go back to your convoluted stories of Metal Gear.
I think I will.
30
Thank
years
you,
in the
sir.
making. No, that's interesting. But yeah. So next thing we're gonna talk about MMOs up Phil's alley.
Yeah, so
And
what I kind
bars.
of wanted to get into a little bit, yeah. I'm a huge MMO guy. I love MMOs. I love trying them out, seeing kind of what's different about them, what they do well, what they don't do well, and seeing really what I like. And so my question to you guys is, have you played MMOs? What MMOs? And like, what do you think's happening with them right now? There's a transition that's pretty clear. Like, it used to be subscription based only. We're kind of going away from that to a free to play / subscription. So what have you played that you liked, and where do you think they're going with it? What do you think is going to be the kind of the next step for MMO, like revenue wise, like money wise?
So I'm gonna get my stuff out of the way because I don't play a lot of MMOs. I played Star Wars Galaxies. I played Star Wars: The Old Republic. You see a pattern there. I played Final Fantasy 14. And my thing with MMOs, and I've mentioned this I think in previous podcasts, but my thing with MMOs is I like seeing like a clear end result, and I always have trouble with MMOs in that respect because people that play MMOs tell me there is an end result, and like you have the main quest and you do it, and then from there it's either about getting gear or about doing raids. That stuff really never attracted me for whatever reason. Another big thing with MMOs for me, at least, is that I've always seen that they're more. It seems like people enjoy them more on PCs, and I didn't really always have my own computer, so I never really got to experience that aspect of it. But from what I've played, I like the lore of Star Wars, so I gravitated. Oh, I played the DC Universe Online one. I actually like that one. I played that on the PS3, or PS4. Sorry, when it was like one of the first games that came
It
out.
was on both.
Yeah, it was on both. And I actually liked that setup. I liked it because it had a controller and it was easier for me to navigate because I'm used to having a controller. I do see that subscriptions seem to be going away, especially for the people who aren't giants in the industry, and things like that. I see more free to play or free to pay, as people call them, where you have those paywalls. Star Wars does have one. You know, I mean, you have to pay for it either way, but you know, I think for me, they need, I don't know, for me to like really, because it is a time consuming thing too, right? People always tell me like they put tons of hours into one. I do like the ability to feel like I can leave, you know, whenever I want, and I don't feel like I'm behind people, because I know when we started playing Star Wars, Phil, you just went off, and I was just like, I'm so far behind, and I just gave up. But I mean, that's where I am with it. You know, I could take them or leave them. I enjoy them when I play with people, but maybe it's just because I'm ignorant to the whole concept of it that, you know, I never really got into it. So,
Yeah.
Var,
I played a few MMOs. I have played
Warframe.
I like Warframe. I played Guild Wars 1 and 2.
Nerd.
I played Final Fantasy 14. I played DC Universe. I tried Warcraft and I didn't enjoy it. I miss Final Fantasy 11. I really miss Final Fantasy.
A lot of people like that one though. Yeah.
I really miss Final Fantasy 11. And the interesting thing is that looking across those, there are games that you could just buy and play.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the free to. All right, you two individuals do not play Warframe, but I have to say the model that they have is pretty extraordinary. It's truly, it's free to play, and just about anything you see in the game can be purchased. But just about everything you see in the game doesn't have to be purchased. It's a grind fest for those who don't want to pay, and if you do want to pay, it's all there for you. I like that. I like that it's kind of a reward for being into your game. With Guild Wars, it was kind of the same thing. After you bought it, it has tons of content, and there are things you can purchase if you so wish, and you normally don't have to. And they had a really good built-in market system. I can't stress that enough with an MMO. If you're going to have tons of loot and tons of variety, give me some kind of market system for something I will never find from a guy who seemingly finds them every day. I like that. I like being able to trade with players, and it's not an experience where it's me and the games market. It's me and the players, me recognizing what I can do to make whatever game income it is, and me recognizing that there are people out there getting these things.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, you know, understanding I could get to that level.
Yeah.
I could get to that level where I'm the one finding these things, or, you know, beating raids or whatever have you. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I really like that. But, yeah, I think about that again. Final Fantasy 11 nailed that with the market. But there's this idea that you should pay a subscription, and I think that idea is fading away, and I hope it's fading away, because in the long run, I think it puts too much pressure on you to enjoy it.
Because you're paying for it constantly.
You're paying for it constantly, and then it becomes, wait a minute. The moment you don't find interest in it, it's just like, should I just stop now? Instead of either a free-to-play game that you can just jump back into when you feel like it, or a game you purchase that you can just jump back into when you feel like it. Instead, you have this game. It's like, wait a minute, I haven't played this for a couple of days. Am I going to go back to it? And where that does not matter with the other two, a subscription, it does. It's like a gym membership.
I hate gym memberships.
The second you feel lazy, it's all going downhill for you, especially if you forget about it. Because then you have a perfectly good product, potentially, that you're now mad at because it wasn't entertaining enough for the money it got from you. And I think that distorts your opinion of the game. It changes how you would tell others about it, too. And I think those are things that game developers should really avoid.
So you'd rather so when we talk free to play, there's like a first of all, it's a dirty word because when free to play first happened, they just abused it and they really fucked that word up. Right.
Huh?
So what kind of free to play are you looking for? Are you looking for like a free to play that lets you experience all the content and you can buy not more content but buy like the other stuff like guns, weapons, that kind of stuff? Or are you looking for like that you can't go in zone A because you haven't you're not a subscriber of that. Okay, so you want
that's essentially like it's an exaggerated demo.
Okay.
The game is constantly telling you, pay for this. It's like a demo. Especially that's how demos have been for as long as I can remember. It's like you've gotten too far.
Yeah.
If you want to buy the entire game, we're gonna send you to the market.
Yeah.
If you're telling me something's free to play and you're constantly telling me, but you should buy this or you can't go here, then I don't want to play. Like that was my problem with Star Wars. Yes. I don't like seeing things that are just like, oh, did you pay?
Yeah.
And
so to elaborate on what LeVar's talking about, you would literally finish a mission and it would give you a reward, and then under it, it's like, by the way, if you paid, you would have these rewards too. That's stupid annoying. I'll agree with that. I actually don't agree. I don't like free-to-play games. I will play them to see if I like them and if I care about them, but most of them have a subscription option anyway, and if I like the game, I'll subscribe. The reason I don't like free-to-play is I don't like the idea, and maybe it's an older one, of like the nickel and dime, right? So I think that if the content's in there, I'd rather give you my $60 for the game and $15 a month for all of your content. I don't want to give you whatever because some games they do it like Elder Scrolls Online. It's still the 60 up front, but then you don't pay, but you can buy microtransaction stuff.
It wasn't always like that too either. Remember they had a subscription.
Yeah. It used to be subscription until they fucked up the console launches. So I'd rather do things where like if I believe in this game and it's something that I'm going to continue to play, that I just do a subscription for it, and then I unlock everything, and it's not something I worry about and not something I go through. The reason they do free to play and the reason they're doing that is because they make more money from the microtransactions. Because it's way easier to get pets and get cosmetics things and buy this and buy that at $1 a piece. $1 this day, $1 that day, $2 this day. It's easier for us as people to rationalize it than we do like, oh shit, I got to give you $15 like up front, and it gets even worse if you buy months at a time. You just see that number. And
I can see that, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's why they're going to play. They make the money off the microtransactions.
Because it's impulse. It's like $15 straight up versus
I see what you're saying.
1 or 2 a day.
But I'll still refer you back because you don't play this game. Warframe. It's not that way.
Yeah, but you literally told me I could walk in day one and buy everything.
Yes.
So that to me is terrible.
But
that to me is the worst thing possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't want any part of that.
Wait a minute. What do you think I meant by that?
The way you said it was that you could just walk in and buy weapons, buy power-ups, all that stuff. I don't want to do any of that. I think that's terrible.
Really?
I think that's terrible. Because to me, when I play my MMO, those are my rewards. That's what I'm playing for. If I can walk in and buy all stuff.
Okay.
What's the point of playing the game?
Okay. Hear me out for a moment.
Yeah.
You can buy. Everything starts off at 0 though. So it's called Warframe because there's suits that have powers and da-da-da-da-da. Fun. But you can buy any Warframe in the game.
Yeah.
It's 0.
Okay.
And you don't have any of the abilities. You'll have to level up to get them.
Yes, but what I'm saying, so that sounds good, but let's say I start the game as a noob, and they give me the Warframe they give me, or I don't really know how the fuck it works, but they give me X, right?
Okay.
So
It's oddly enough, it's called Excalibur.
that's kind of funny. So they give me Excalibur, right? And I'm assuming it has different abilities and stats
Yes.
and all that stuff.
Yes.
So if I start day one and leveling, and you start day one and leveling, but you buy the best Warframe, we're still going to be level 0, right?
There is. Well, that's the thing. That's the other
But your
thing.
payoff for you leveling your suit and me leveling mine, you're way ahead of me.
But they're
Right.
not. But they're not best. That's the other thing that it's all because the variety in guns and everything else is based on play style. Like I can't. There's no way I can approach the game and say, "Oh, I got the best gun." It's play style. I can't tell you I got the best suit. It's what you. It's how you play. And actually, people say the first one you get, depending on how you do it, is the best one. It's an interesting game.
Oh, that's very confusing. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me. Because then why buy anything? Ever.
Because it's a different way to play the game. That's you can. It's just like imagine Elder Scrolls where you could be different races, but you just had to find ways to be different races. It's
Or
just
you can
different ways to
buy
play the
different
game.
races. Is that what you're saying?
Or you could buy different races. Yeah,
And that would piss me off.
That's what I think. Yeah.
I get you.
Right
Yeah.
off the rip, that pissed me off.
I get what you're saying. I just like
next thing-
having that open option.
Well, is that like the same as doing like grinding to level something up versus just paying for it right off the bat to make it that level that you're trying to grind for? Is that what you
No,
mean?
you can't do that.
Okay.
Everything starts at 0 and you have to level it up.
But you can pay to level it up.
No.
Or no? Okay.
But what you can do is take your Warframe that you don't like the play style of, level it up, and then get the Warframe you want, and then you
Yeah.
have to level that up.
Yeah.
Or you just buy the Warframe you want and level it up. You
Yeah.
get to skip an entire fucking step.
Oh, okay.
That's what I don't like.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't.
Oh, I understand. I'm just saying I like having that option.
I really like the Elder Scrolls Online. I like the way they do it, where they have microtransactions. Most of it's cosmetic so far. Some horse stuff, may get you around faster. Nothing that I noticed was game breaking, but the difference is you still have to buy the game up front, so you're still paying that
Initial.
for the initial buy into the game. And I really kind of like the way that did it. I just did the demo of Final Fantasy 14. It was okay. I like that it has a subscription. Like I said, I so much more rather just subscribe to something because I'd rather just get all of it instead of get bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
Just throughout. Sorry. Generally, I do it in a 3-month burst. So I'll do 3 months because I find for myself that I will play an MMO at the bare minimum for 3 months and spend at least that much time with it, and then I can decide if I want to re-up. I played WoW for years. I played Star Wars for years. I played the other Star Wars for years. And most recently, honestly, the Final Fantasy. I played Diablo, which is MMO-esque. It's not a true MMO. I tried the repopulation for a little bit. I tried Defiance, Rift, Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 1. I tried EverQuest 2 for a while.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I think you guys have obviously had different experiences with, MMOs.
Yeah.
If you guys can answer this as best you can, I guess. Do you think the bigger problem you guys have with certain MMOs is that they don't know what kind of MMO they really are? So like when you say that you want to pay for something outright and have the subscription for $15, do certain games have those kind of subscriptions, but then they're not the kind of game that needs that should have it or supposed to have it? And that's kind of where the conflict is, because I think that kind of hurts some certain games, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, I think what's even bigger than that is that a lot of the games now have both.
Okay.
And I think that, to me, is a problem because you have two entirely different ways to play the game and two entirely different things that can happen in the game interacting with each other, right? So like we can take Warframe for example. Like I can come into it and buy stuff. Or is there a subscription for Warframe or no? It's just micro.
No, there's one kind of, it's just a big bundle thing where I
Yeah,
think it's
so it's
called
not.
Prime Access,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that just
So,
gives you a lot more of the in-game currency. It unlocks the suit and gives
yeah.
you other stuff.
Okay. So not really. So it'd be more akin to something like Elder Scrolls, which you can subscribe to, or something. I believe Guild Wars you can still subscribe to the second one,
No,
or is it all micro?
it
I
was
think it's
all, you
all
just had to buy
micro.
it.
Yeah,
It's just all micro now.
yeah.
Okay. What's the other one?
It never had a subscription.
Guild Wars 2?
Yeah,
Oh,
never had
okay.
a subscription.
Okay. Um, man, what else had it? Star Wars, you can subscribe or play. And I think when you mix those kind of two together, is
Didn't
where
DC Universe try to have one for a while?
Yeah, they had
yeah,
it. They had a subscription for a
EverQuest.
while,
I
but
think
it
EverQuest has it
changed it.
either. But I think when those two collide is
Yeah,
where you run into the real problems because
Really?
yeah.
yeah, 100% because what I take from the game is the level of my guy, the progression of my guy, the gear of my guy, and all that stuff, right? And then when somebody else comes in and they buy the better stuff or they use microtransactions to get ahead and do that kind of stuff, it takes away my feeling of it, my accomplishment of it, right? I'll give you a great example. Back in the day when I played WoW, people would literally just be in town on the best mount they had, right? Because at the time in WoW, now they have microtransactions and things have changed. Um, like you could only get that mount because you beat the best fucking boss, or because you cleared this dungeon under 5 minutes, or whatever. And it was like your way of being like, this is how good of a player I am, or is this what I was able to accomplish with my friends? And I feel like once they bring in other parts of it, it goes downhill, and it becomes, well, this is what I bought.
Okay, far.
It just, for a second there, just sounded like I want to be an elitist, but other people can buy my trophies.
But that's why you play an MMO. That's the end game of an MMO
I
is
play
to get.
games to enjoy them. I don't play them to go, here, look what I got.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
better than
but
you.
that's not the
That's
case. We were
not.
just talking about like that specific type of game.
Yeah, we're talking about like end game content, raid, and that kind of thing. Because if you look at any MMO, if it does not have end game content, it does not stick around.
I get you.
So that's what really pushes the people. That's what really pushes people who play those types of games, and that's why I like it. And hence why I play that Diablo, those types of games. Um, and that's what those end game. That's all that is.
Mhm.
All that is a badge that says this is what I was able to do. And I sure as shit would be pissed off if someone came up next to me on their mount and I'm like, that took me 40 hours. And you're just fucking running through on your fucking mount. That's the same thing because you bought it off the network.
So I got a question about that. Does that bother you more when you have a subscription and they do that, or when it's free to play and they do that?
Either way.
Because I think that's at the discretion of the person, honestly.
No, no,
You know what I mean?
sorry.
Like if it's
It bothers,
microtrans,
yeah, it bothers me when it's microtransactions.
it bothers you. But I would think it would bother you more if people can do it when you're subscribing and they also buy that. Like you said that some are both, right? So some could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
subscription and microtransaction, right?
yeah.
So I think that would bother me more if I'm paying $15, whatever, for
Generally in the ones that are subscription and microtransaction, the differences are more slight and they're more cosmetic.
okay,
And by that I mean
yeah, like
you couldn't get that best mount unless you did that raid anyway. They're more like if you subscribe, you get more inventory space. You get instant mail
Yeah.
instead of a 4 hour timer on your mail.
yeah.
You get to start a guild. You get to do those kinds of things. Um,
So when I think,
as
go ahead.
I know one really bad one was Lord of the Rings Online. They had a subscription, but it was also free to play, and then they also had microtransactions. And a lot of times, the way the microtransactions work are that you buy in-game currency that then buys stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they had it that you could only go to certain areas unless you got enough in-game currency, and then you can go to the next area, you buy it to unlock it. Now, for your subscription, everything was unlocked. Or you could pay $10 and unlock this area, or this dungeon, or that dungeon.
That's
And
horrible.
that shit drove me up the wall. I put that for like a month. That one I didn't even subscribe to. I couldn't do it. But I think that, like, even when you move into like the Star Wars, that's still decently popular. It's just, it's not that I have a problem with free to play. I have a problem with anything that goes above vanity. So if you can buy a snowman pet that you can only buy, I don't really give a shit, right? But if you can buy a mount that gives you faster speed, that's kind of an issue for me.
Okay.
I get you.
Well, yeah,
I
and I
disagree.
mean, yeah, I gotta be honest. I understand, and it could be because you play MMOs, and you're like you understand like the concept of grinding that way.
Right.
I guess for me, like, it wouldn't matter. For me, I think less of a person if they bought it, but at the same time, because they're spending money that they don't have to if they just spend the time to play the game.
Yeah.
Which some people don't have the game. Like, I mean, have the time, but
I
at
get
the same time, like, for me, it's more of a pride thing where I did this for 40 hours and I'm better than, like, I feel better about myself because I did it. I don't care that you spent your stupid money when I did it my way. You know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying.
I get it.
Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff.
So the only other thing I want to touch on MMOs, and I think LeVar will have some of this, is what combat system do you like the most?
Oh, the ones that work. I don't know.
He's just about right.
That's really true, but
Yeah. But
like, do you like that they're moving to this more like
action pace.
yeah, very like actiony? I've noticed that in a lot of the new ones, and even the one I've been watching, the Blade and Soul, that's supposed to be coming out here is all action. It's constant action.
Love action.
If it works.
Yeah.
If it like the only thing, because all right, you know the normal MMO setup is
Yep.
built that you don't go alone.
Yes.
It's built that you have like your DPS, damage per second guy,
Right.
your tank,
Look at you.
your healer,
And that's it. Yeah.
and some kind of support like buffing
Sometimes,
the hell
yeah.
out of everybody.
Buffer.
But you have a party.
Nerds.
You have a party that goes to fight instead of it being like, all right, I'm Billy Badass.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of with these games, because I think, how far do you go with action
Yeah.
until support's just like,
We're here too.
you don't need us.
Well, they don't know. A lot of the new MMOs don't even have support classes. They have either built-in abilities to heal themselves.
Yeah.
They a lot of newer ones have gotten rid of dedicated healers. They're moving away from that.
Instead of on the go healer.
Nothing.
I don't.
I'm just gonna.
All right.
Whatever.
All right.
Next. Fucking. Damn it, Jason.
So we can agree we don't like more actiony combat systems. Yeah?
I love Warframe. It's all action,
I was gonna say, isn't that all action?
but that's how it's built and it works.
Okay.
Like it was never like, okay, you need this, you need that. Like, if you wanted to run solo shooter, fine. But if I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 and I find myself I got a sword and I'm fast with it, it's no longer like Final Fantasy. It's just not. It's like, even in the non-MMOs, it's like, well, I got my damage guy, I got my healers, whatever have you, summoners, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a party-based thing. When you make it into something, like, that's the problem with it. If it's new and it can pull that off, and I don't know that it was ever intended to be something else, I'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if I know the dynamic it's supposed to have,
Yeah.
like if you give me a game and you slowly phase stuff out, like a class I could have been from the beginning suddenly becomes what?
Like Star Wars.
Yes.
The first one, and then the combat upgrade happened, and I quit. Sorry.
But that's what it is. Like, there's something you can be, and it's phased out.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just becomes pointless. Like, if you do that to me, it's like, why are you doing that? Like, I know the dynamics this game's supposed to have, and you broke your own mechanics.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But if you make it out, because I'll be the first to admit, Warframe can be a shooter, it can be whatever have you, and you can solo. Like, there are solo builds. But that's how it was always built.
Yeah.
So it knows what it is and it stays true to it.
Yes.
Fair enough. That's always the best option, right? When you start making all these, unnecessary modifications, you're changing what works. You're changing what works, and
But another thing I'll bring up about MMOs is that they consistently update.
Yeah.
And I have always had the belief that there are people sitting in the forums complaining in all these MMOs.
That's all they do.
Problem
all over the world.
Okay, but the problem is that the people who are still enjoying the game aren't those people.
Right. Yep.
So the game gets changed for the people who are barely playing it.
Yeah, but that's what is that? Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But in these cases,
That's how it works.
The squeaky wheel isn't even one that's rolling. It's,
yeah.
It's not on the device at all. It's just like a forum. Huh. What can I complain about?
Yeah.
I know. I lived through the combat upgrade. I don't want to fucking...
But that's what it is. You're sitting there playing the game, enjoying it.
Yeah.
And there's somebody who's barely touched it and they're just like, I have a complaint.
Yeah.
Have you even played it? Do you know how it gets? Just like, that doesn't matter. I have a complaint.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah. I think
those
that's
are the people they listen to.
That's an issue that extends just MMOs or gaming for that matter. It's just I don't even want to get into that. Like, oh god, that pisses me off. But
that's one of my big problems with MMOs.
Yeah.
Like how they're affected because they're always changing.
Yeah.
Like as much as they feel like they're the same, if I were to
if I played Warcraft right now, it wouldn't even be the same fucking game.
Exactly. Like the updates
same game.
And they're telling you like something got nerfed and this is better. Those aren't normally from the people who are already enjoying the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody who like day one showed up and just like, he's better than me. And I don't know why.
He's
1,000
good at
hours
stuff.
in.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, but we got to balance the game.
Right, and then they do microtransactions. And here we are.
Oh, I feel like I hit a sore spot right there.
Full circle.
So, we've talked a lot about, issues and, things that, kind of thorns in the side. But let's talk about a good thing. Hopefully, ideally, let's talk about our favorite moments in gaming. This will be our last topic. Can you guys think back of some favorite moments? And they could be sore subjects, but just moments in gaming that you can remember, that you can think back on, that just stick in your head. Who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Sorry, you, Jason.
I'll go first. So I mentioned in one of our, I think it was our first podcast. I had a Super Nintendo, but I was probably too young to really appreciate it. I had Super Mario Bros. 3. I had Ninja Turtles, which I remember, and I remember being mad at that game for that stupid sewer. People know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I never went back to it. I played Terminator, which, let's be honest,
it's a horrible game.
I know, but it was fun for me. But the bigger thing is, I had my Sega. I played, the games on there. But when I got to my PlayStation 1 was when I could really enjoy the experience, right? And I think about Metal Gear Solid. And I know we talk a lot about it. We have a video on our top 5 and everything. But when I think about that game and the impact it had on me, it really was something that just opened my eyes to what video games were becoming and what they could be involved and stuff like that. I played Final Fantasy VII, I played those kind of games, but I think this had more of an impact in that I could visually see the story unfolding, with the cinematics and stuff like that.
Okay.
and just the play style. It was top down, but you're running through. You have your radar. You have just all the little facets of the game that were so significant, so impactful. The boss fights, and Sniper Wolf, Vulcan Raven, just all those guys,
Taking me back.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis, right? So Psycho Mantis, that was the best thing because you had to switch your controller. And I remember getting mad, like getting irate that I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on until like he said it. I was getting pissed. And just, it's just fun to think about, I think that's a big moment in gaming for me, that really like stamped it because I had the Sega and I played Sonic, and I had fun with it. I had fun with Mortal Kombat. I used to play Mortal Kombat with my mom. Like, she didn't know what she was doing. I was kicking her ass, but she, that was fun. But at the same time, like Metal Gear Solid is definitely like a cornerstone of my gaming history, that led me to where I am. I'm playing games. I'm gonna be playing games, and I hope my kids play games. But that's my favorite moment. What about you guys?
All right, I guess I'll go next. So one of my favorite gaming moments is actually from an MMO. Surprise.
I feel like we were just talking about those.
I feel like it's back to the sore subject of Star Wars before the combat update.
Star Wars Galaxies?
Star Wars Galaxies. I played that game pretty religiously for way too many hours, so we're not going to go down that road. But long story short, I was in a guild. So Galaxies really showed me that these MMOs and these games, you can really connect with people through them.
Yeah.
You can meet people. It sounds stupid, but they have full lives. They do different things. They're from different walks of life, and you can really experience all these different people through something shared. So through the game and through like what you were a part of. One of the biggest memories that stick out for me is I was in a guild at the time, and me and another kid, I still remember his character name. It was Oni.
Oni!
We decided that the guild we were in wasn't good enough anymore. Well, we disagreed with the guild leader, and we had all these issues. We were officers, so we would have guild meetings and talk about what we're doing with the guild. We came to the point where we decided it wasn't us, and I remember I during class in school would literally I wrote almost like a breakup letter with this guild. Like like the reasons I'm leaving, it's not you, it's me. Like this whole fucking thing about how like I needed to leave and I needed to better myself. And me and Odie split off. We made our own guild. We sent it to everybody. And we were still friends and cordial and that kind of stuff. But it showed me that like there's this group you can care about and these other people that even through just playing this game, you can make that connection with.
Yeah.
I still love that, and I still look for that when I play MMOs, the other like-minded or other people who play and can strive towards these goals and towards these things. And what really made it cool in Star Wars before the combat upgrade was that you could do anything. You could literally just farm. Like that was it. That could be your character. That you just go harvest stuff and you make some stuff, and that's it. That was your whole life. One of you guys said it earlier today. When everybody's Han Solo, nobody's Han Solo, yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that game, it sounds stupid, but gave you this chance to build a community through having housing and all this stuff. And that was it for me. That was emotional. It was this whole thing, and then we moved on. We started our own, brought some people with us, and then eventually combat upgrade fucking ruined everything. But so bitter to this day.
So
bitter.
I feel like there's a combat upgrade thing that's really thwarted your side.
The combat, did they upgrade it?
Yeah.
They did it.
And we have our first thumbnail.
Yeah. So anyway, so that one was really impactful on me, and the other one that really set my we'll call it my end game. Jason likes to call me a loot whore.
Give it the loot. Give it the loot.
What really set me down that lane was Diablo 2. I used to play it I remember my parents had a hallway. It was a fucking hallway. Like at the time, it wasn't. It was a room, but it was a hallway now. There's a little desk in it. The computer was set up on it, and I would just play Diablo 2, Lords of Destruction expansion for hours, hours upon hours upon hours, um, and just going for that next piece, going for the next piece, going for the next piece, going for the next piece, and that really set up like my um, just want to always have that new shiny loot. And a lot of it too was from my brother would play as well, and we compare our characters, and oh, this is better, that's better, and that kind of thing. And it really kind of sparked that. That's why to this day I play Diablo 3, and I every time a season starts, I have to play that season. Non, Jason knows, like I will literally stop every other game,
Yes.
play that season for like I don't know 7 8 hours a day, and do it for maybe a month, and then I won't touch it again until the next season.
Yeah, he has to like get it out of his system.
Have to get in, rebuild my character, get the new stuff, see how it works, see how I can maximize myself. And it's just something that's stuck with me. I don't. It's not healthy.
That's healthy. That's
It's not
healthy.
healthy, but
It's healthy. If you say it's healthy, it's healthy.
it's healthy. Definitely
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah. Drugs are healthy. What? No, they're not.
Are bad.
Yeah, that's true. Don't look at the camera like that. It's weird. No one
So
believes you when you look at the camera like that.
damn it. So yeah, those are my experiences. Who would have thunk it? Loot horror and MMOs. So
Yeah, kind of symbiotic.
All right, so
Here we go.
there's a few that come to mind. One, and this is kind of pathetic and shameful. I love RPGs.
I love Chuzzle.
I hate Chuzzle so much. All right, so I love RPGs, and one of the first RPGs I ever completed was Final Fantasy IX.
oh okay.
Okay.
I know it's a little backwards. I went back to play 7 and 8. Played Final Fantasy IX.
Mine's better.
Knew nothing
Yeah, nice.
about Final Fantasies at the time. So I get the case and I'm like, 4 discs. And all right.
Yep.
And I'm playing and I'm playing and I'm playing. And it many hours in, and it comes time to change discs.
Yeah.
And it pops up on the screen. Would you like to save your game? Sure. But you have no memory card.
Oh my god.
Oh no, bear with me. So I guess I won't save game. Insert disc 2. What a lot of people don't know is that there's enough memory on the PlayStation to just go to the next disc. But then I started to think to myself,
What if you have to turn the console? Which makes sense, because you never turn your shit off, even now.
well, it's gonna get worse because I beat all of Final Fantasy IX with no memory card.
Oh my
shit.
god.
It's a very long game.
Yeah.
You were basically a QA tester for the PS1.
I really was. When I
Like, you
think
could
of,
tell
like,
them, hey,
when I
you
think
can go
about how hot the
367 days.
Xbox got
Yeah.
and how hot the PS3 got,
Yeah.
and had no problem with the PS2. Those PS1s and PS2s are magical. I'm
Yeah.
convinced
Yeah.
because I can break a console and I never broke either.
Yeah.
But I beat Final Fantasy IX,
Yeah.
and it's not like I gotta beat this as fast as I can. It's like, let me go back and make sure I didn't miss any chests. Or
Jesus.
the entire area, the entire game,
Yep.
without a memory
I don't
card.
even want to know what the playtime on that game was.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It just has dots, like, across it.
It doesn't
And
go
what
that high.
became a game was, because I didn't do this during the summer, I did this during like the winter, so it became a game of how do I hide from everybody that I've left a PlayStation on?
Oh yeah.
And that's why I know that they're good products because I covered mine in clothes. And,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
You
I
could
don't
have
think
started a fire.
I don't think there's a fan in the PlayStation 1.
Ah,
I think it just doesn't get hot.
yeah.
I think it doesn't know any better. It's like,
Well, you're the one
Should
to
I be
know.
hot?
You'd be the one to know.
I beat the entire game
That makes so much sense.
without ever being able to save. And then I got into the habit of it, as Jay is kind of alluding to.
Oh my god.
I just leave stuff on.
All
Like,
the fucking time.
if it's an RPG and I have under 100 hours in it, I didn't like it because I just leave my stuff on all the time.
Yeah.
I have like a few Steam games. Like I think I have 500 hours in XCOM. I probably played it for like 100.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
The other time that comes to mind was the midnight release for Halo Reach.
Okay.
Now, I was excited about Halo Reach because they pushed it as having story. So, hey, relax. So,
It had story, damn it.
I'm with our friend Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we're in line and it's cold and you know, me and Tim are talking like, hey, excited about this game. Tim's like, yeah, I've been waiting for this all day. And like, so have I. We get the game. We go to our respective homes. And normally I would play the story because I like story, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if Tim's still up.
Yeah.
Blue? Tim is online. All right. I can play with Tim. So by now it's like 12:40 and we just start playing because Tim lives, you know, decent amount away.
Yeah.
And it's 12:40 and we start playing the matchmaking. It's enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. More enjoyable than I expected. And we just keep going. And it's 3. And we just keep going.
Yeah.
And it's 4 and it's 5 and 6 a.m. We're like, wow. And then Tim tells me, I've had fun, man. I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling bad because I know he hasn't slept and all these things.
He never gave a shit. Tim never gave a shit about that.
Tim never gave a shit. Tim was a trooper. So I'm like, all right, Tim. I'll see you when you get back. I had class because midnight release was from Monday to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Came out Tuesday. I had class on Tuesday. So I'm looking at the clock. It's 6 a.m. My class is at 10. I haven't slept. Any of that. And the matchmaker countdown is at like 3. So it's about to start again.
Oh.
I'll just play one more match. And then I'm doing the math. I'm like, I'm not going to have enough time to sleep. So I don't have to worry about class anymore. So I just keep playing.
Yeah.
And
Go to
when
school,
I say
kids.
I just keep playing. Blue?
Yeah.
Tim's back online.
Oh.
Hey, Tim. Let's play some Halo Reach. And, yes, kid, go to school.
Yeah.
Get your education. Do big things.
We don't condone this kind of behavior.
But
yeah, we did this kind of shit.
If you are to sit back and reserve a game, wait for it for months to come out, pick it up with your friend, and he's like, I'll be online. One day of school.
Yeah. Not gonna kill you.
You can make up all that work. You gotta have the experience.
Go to
You can't
school.
make sleep deprivation, but you can make up the work.
Yeah.
You can make up the sleep deprivation. My brain never messes up much. But yeah, I just remember that because I completely lost track of time.
Yeah.
I completely lost track of time. I enjoyed that game so much because I'm not too big on multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like if you see me on a multiplayer and I got a positive kill death ratio, I'm in my glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me to enjoy Halo,
Mama, I made it.
exactly. Kill streak. Oh, that was the other moment. It was also in Reach. I thought this was impossible, but I did this. So Reach is when they implemented the melee, where somebody sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Tim is in this match, as he was with Minnie, and I'm playing, and I told you I'm not really good at multiplayer, so I got the plasma grenade, and I just chuck it, and there's like an opening in the middle, and I miss it, and it goes off to the side, and it's bouncing back at me.
These are terrible with grenades.
I'm not gonna say I'm not, and I'm like, oh shit. I blow up the guy who's meleeing me to death,
Oh, dopeness.
and I just hear "Showstopper." I'm the greatest in video games in the entire world. Those are my.
So I guess we'll wrap up from here. So thanks for spending some time with us, guys. We'll be back next week. We're going to try to continue to make this a weekly thing. We also have a new segment called Just Our Thoughts, where we debate top lists, and we'll talk about other things on that one. This is more of a weekly podcast for us, so about what's going on. So look for that, and we're trying to get the website going. We're going to have a couple reviews up eventually by the end of I don't know yet. We have to figure that out, but we're hoping to review a couple games coming out. So just look out for that, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Okay, have a good one. Bye.